there as like the first place to go visit. Kind of flat.
Kind of fun. I had spent some time there.
Where?
All right. Hello, hello, hello. We are now live on Facebook. Welcome to another episode of 1 Million Cups Fairfax. For joining us. As you see on the screen, you'll see a picture of our 1 Million Cups app. Would you please go to your cell phone, click on the 1 Million Cups app, log in, and we'll be able to have you check into that app. That will be great. That will be wonderful. And please do that for us. If you do not have the app, please download the app and check in. The reason why we would like you to do that is, number one, we get credit for you being here, and you'll be able to get cool gifts that we can give our presenter. On the other side of that, I know most of you would like to connect with other people that are at this event. That is a great way to connect with them, especially if they put the proper information in there, like their LinkedIn or Facebook information in there. If you are getting a black screen when you log into the app, that's okay. It still works. Just turn off your Wi-Fi, turn it back on, and it should pop up. It is a very temperamental app, but it's the app that we have. Next slide. 1 Million Cups is a mastermind group for entrepreneurs, where we bring entrepreneurs together in one community across the nation at different locations at the same time. In fact, we have over 160 locations nationally, and you happen to be at my favorite one, 1 Million Cups Fairfax, even though you're enjoying it from the comfort of your own home. We are enjoying this. Hopefully you guys have a cup of coffee, which I don't have around me, but I will get one as soon as we start the presentation. But enjoy our presentation today. Remember that this is a safe and supportive, inclusive and diverse. Everyone has a voice, no one dominates the conversation, and this event is respectful and considerate. Also remember that we're on Facebook Live, as well as Zoom, and this event is being recorded. So don't say anything that you would be that you would regret later on. Please be nice. In fact, let me start recording now. All right. So you can join us in several different locations and make sure that you communicate with our team. Number one, you can join our Facebook community by going to 1MC Fairfax. You can find us on Facebook. In fact, please find us on Facebook right now and then share the link to our live event going on with your friends. That way, the individuals that are presenting can get the maximum support and get the visibility that their business deserves. We're also on LinkedIn. You can find us the number 1 Million Cups Fairfax on LinkedIn, and also on Zoom every Wednesday until this coronavirus goes away. Next slide. I would be remiss without, I want to basically introduce our sponsors. When we're in a specific location, Office Evolution, we have the great location that is sponsored by Office Evolution with John. Can you please talk about Office Evolution, please?
Sure will. Thanks, Donnell. Hello, everyone. Great to see everyone this morning. I'm John Yu with Office Evolution. We are a co-working space provider located right here in Tyson's Corner. As Donnell mentioned, we're so happy to be sponsoring as a space provider, but for now, while we're still in this pandemic world, we're meeting virtually, but we're looking forward to bring everyone together at our space. We provide fully furnished private office as well as a number of virtual office solutions such as business address and meeting room space for small business owners. We are a locally owned business, and that makes us to be flexible in working with individuals, clients to provide a more of a customized solution to meet their needs. And because we're local, we have a strong interest in seeing every small business owners or small business grow and flourish. And hence we partner with 1 Million Cups and other business organizations to help facilitate the growth of our business community, because we think that that's business, small business are the backbone of our community. And we also partner with the small service providers like payroll and health insurance, so that small business owners can take advantage of a group discount rate. So if you'd like to learn more about Office Evolution and the service that we provide, I'll leave my information in the chat box, so feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. And I believe next is our coffee sponsor. So with that, let me introduce Bill Hoisington from Airport Jewel.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see everybody. I also just want to say that I think John Yu's use of his Zoom background image is maybe the best I've seen. But so I'm Bill Hoisington with Airport Jewel. I'm kind of just a one-man shop. I provide websites, web applications, and digital marketing strategy. I am a one-man shop. I'm moving towards rebranding to Web Aptly and building an actual business, which I'm sure I'm gonna, get a lot of assistance from this group. I hope to present before the year is up. But yeah, Bill Hoisington, Airport Jewel. And if you have any questions for me, get in touch with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Please put your application in. We'll definitely approve it. So I want to remind everybody, this is a virtual meeting. Please put your microphones on mute. That way we don't hear the cool things like your kids in the background asking for cereal or anything cool like that. If you have any questions, please use the wave icon, and the moderator will say your name, then unmute your microphone, and then we'll have you speak, and then put your microphone back on mute. So please follow these rules. Without further ado, I want to introduce Ken from Genotype Productions.
Greentpyro Productions, sorry.
Yes, thank you, thank you. In fact, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, perfect. All right, next slide. Okay, so here we start off with the challenge question. How do I and my colleagues survive when the event industry has been shut down for 18 or more months? All right, next slide. Okay, here's me when I first started. The company didn't start yet. I was just getting to be an idea. I came up with a contraption called the iPhone cinematography kit. I couldn't patent it because I was an employee for a certain well-known company, so kind of a bummer. But I rolled with this contraption with the phone, a very powerful Rode microphone, and LED lamp. And I went to all the concerts from Baltimore to Richmond. Next slide. Okay, raw artists, natural born artists. Basically, talent scouts from all over the country and also all over the world will look for supermodels, makeup artists, photographers, videographers, just the next big person. And I was lucky to have a press pass for the past 2.5 years with them. And I would basically interview each of them, and then I would put them on full blast on YouTube, Vimeo. I think Instagram stories was just coming out, so that as well. It was a pretty good time. The downside of it, it was pro bono. So I basically called it quits after a couple of years and then decided to start my LLC. So next slide. All right, when I started in year one, 2015, I was basically shooting video all over Northern Virginia. I was going to every bar, every alternative scene, what's called the Burning Man scene. So I was heavily involved in that for the past few years. So here, just shooting with my normal camera. Sometimes I had a assistant with me, so he was kind of doing behind the scenes stuff as I was shooting. So it was kind of cool because sometimes if we had the video and it was cool with the client, we could throw behind the scenes at the end, but other times we just gave them just the normal product. Next slide. All right, here's me. Some of my jobs started becoming challenging in a sense, just like I started going on really interesting websites for bidding jobs. So they didn't give me too much information. I just got some stuff, rolled with it. This one in particular was in a theater company. I went in there, found out, they had some things that I could use, but they didn't have everything. So I still carried a little extra and I made things work. I mean, some people were joking with me like, oh, you're actually in a theater performance. I'm like, no, man, that's my actual rig for shooting the video because I was in a very tight spot and they weren't ready for me for, getting the presentation. So, I mean, the unique thing that people have known me for years about is, I mean, I build my own rigs and stuff for projects. I spent a lot of hours in it, kind of really getting to know like, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen on a job? I need to know the ins and outs, just like all of that. Okay, next part here. When things were getting slow for me, shooting videos, there are a hell of a ton of photographers and videographers in Northern Virginia. So I would work with some of the top guys in Tyson's, especially this gentleman right here. He was working at a hair cuttery corporate, I think it's called Ratner Companies at the time. And I would hang out with him and we would shoot all these models in Northern Virginia. Here you can see I'm his lighting assistant. Next slide. All right. When things were also just, I'm not on the field, other times I was doing stuff in the studio. One of my big money makers was the VHS to DVD transfer. The reason I produced it faster than Costco. Costco gets to you in two to 2.5 weeks. I would cut that down to a week or to 3 to 5 days. And I was just killing it. I did my own graphic design in-house. So like this, I don't know if you guys does it look kind of familiar, the pattern, if you ever seen like a VHS case from back in the day? No, yeah. So that was a cool little thing I did. And then this one was for the 8 and 16 millimeter reels. So somebody gave me, looks like a reel there. When I made it digital, I was like, okay, so they remember that was a former reel now turned into a DVD. So just a little creative projects I had. So, all right, 2015 wrapped up. Looking at the year, I made some money. I did some stuff pro bono, but I wasn't going to survive if I kept going that route. So now I decided to become a full service equipment rental business because I found that Northern Virginia, Fairfax, Loudoun, Prince William was lacking it. So my 3 go-to clients are the real estate industry. Next slide. Pharmaceutical reps, pharmaceutical companies. Next slide. And the jobs that we had, if I wasn't doing it at a certain restaurant or hotel, I was going straight to the client in their office. So here we're going behind the scenes. Sometimes it would be doctor patients, like a small group, or doctor and nurses, and they would just talk about, their meeting with some audiovisual stuff, whether sound. In this case, it was just a video package. Next slide. Here I done private parties at the company's location. So let's say I did this pretty much all day, starting from like 9 in the morning, didn't get done until 2 a.m. Went in, set my stuff up. It was an interesting thing because normally I'm used to just things being closed off. Here you have people coming in and out from the elevators, and I made it work. So on this one here, Client provided the equipment themselves. They just needed somebody to show up, set up their stuff, run their conference for 4 days. Was in Annapolis, Maryland. We got it done, but yeah, I roll with it. And all right. So majority of my meetings, people call me as the go-to audiovisual tech for all the hotels in Marriott's, Sheraton's, Ritz-Carlton Tyson's, Ritz-Carlton DC, Ritz-Carlton, Pentagon City, pretty much all the hotels in Northern Virginia. I go, I make everything clean. When I come in, sometimes people want to do something creative. So in this one, I was hanging picture frames with chicken wire on all of this steel structure called truss. I got pretty lights in the background. I can do any color of the rainbow, like for especially anybody's, company colors. I can do that. So pretty nice. I'm the only guy with this device called the gaff gun. It saves time and energy, especially with certain DJs. Some people don't know how to properly tape down cables, and it can become a safety hazard. So when using this device, it does everything very nice, very precision, and you don't have to, and the client's happy. It saves time. Otherwise, it takes 3 or 4 times, and the cost just properly. All right. Coast Guard has been my go-to client for about, 10 years. I would normally do their jobs in Arlington, DC, and then, okay, now we're going back. Oh, there we go, Coast Guard. Yeah, so then here I had the privilege of going to New Jersey, and then, okay, now we're here. So clients come to me, basically, let's say they're having a Mid-Atlantic conference. So they get all their guys from all the states from Maine to Florida. They all fly in. I rent them, let's say 10, 15, 20 computers, 2 flip charts, a screen. They have their government ID readers to put in their chip. So it's all just the portable meeting package in a breakout. Sometimes I do embassy work. One of my known clients is the Embassy of India. So they're about to do a rock concert. So I have a go-to audio guy who's familiar with the setups for backline. So he helps me with setting that up. I am pretty much the only guy with this truck. It's my Jumbotron that I use for just clients who are just high profile. So I go in and put a big, huge movie theater so they don't have to worry about, going out in public and, getting, bombarded by their fans. So here's just something quick, easy, and it's awesome when you see it in person. I work with all the photographers, videographers. I'm not here to be anybody's competition. I'm here to be their partner and help them succeed as well. Here I'm with Brand Ready Media. They're really nice guys. I've known them for years. So we were doing a project. Yep. And here's me with a well-known artist from the early 2000s, Cisco. I shot a video with him, like 15 years ago. So yeah, it was pretty cool time. Yeah. And then here we go. I'm all over Yelp. If you guys go on my Yelp page, you'll see all the great reviews. Pretty much I've done anything and everything from bits from video to just every custom AV project in town. Next, another LinkedIn review, probably for the tape transfers. Next. All right, one of my big contracts was in Tyson's Corner for, as I mentioned earlier, hair cuttery, also known as Ratner Companies. They were one of my go-to clients every year. I would go, show up, help them out with their photo shoots, and help, just anybody coming in, whether they had and then here we go, COVID-19. This sucker, nobody saw coming. It came in. It took my whole industry out within 72 hours. So now we're here, and it's an interesting world called new normal. So next slide. Now we get the sheriff in town who tells us we can't have mass gatherings of more than 10 people. So now it's becoming a lot harder than, how do we get 100, 300, 600 people, in the meeting? So here we go. How bad the damage has been. 1.6 million exhibitors impacted. 80% marketers believe live events are critical to their company's success. 15.5 billion loss of state and local taxes. 286 billion in total impact. And look at that there, the big one. Almost 2 million jobs lost. All right, next. Unemployment. Now, the bad thing about this is our lifeline is the meeting and event planners. Right now, the meeting and event planners do not exist. All of my go-to, like I have a list of, let's say, 500 go-to planners. They're out of work. And it's like I try, reach out. Okay, what are we trying to do to pivot? So here, I worked with a colleague and we did a socially distanced graduation. We had 2 trucks on each side, as you guys can see. That's new normal of a graduation. Next, that is a drive-in movie theater concept. So, and then here's now we're starting to go back into the hotel with less fancy stuff. We do have the 2 screens that are hanging. Okay, now we're going straight to the challenge question. All right, how do I and my colleagues survive when the event industry has been shut down for 18 and more months?
Awesome presentation, Kent. I can't believe you met Cisco. Isn't that the thong guy?
I was shooting his video. He came out to Fairfax City and they were like, we need Kent. And I was like, okay, I showed up. I did it. It was pretty cool. So loved it.
No, awesome presentation. I'm going to now hand it over to Myosha for the question and answer piece so we can get you some amazing feedback on what you do and to help you get your company back up and running. In fact, me and you need to talk because I'm one of those event planners that was impacted by this event. So Myosha.
Ken, thank you very much, John L. Ken, that was awesome presentation, and wow, what awesome work you have and what great talent. I myself had some videos done before COVID for my school with Tom Madden, and I don't know if you know him, his company. So great work. While we're getting everybody warmed up to giving you awesome feedback, which our group usually does, a lot of businesses, small businesses are kind of adapting to the new normal or working towards it since we don't have a choice. And they are trying to open up and get their message out there. Have you thought about reaching out to, I noticed that the doctor's offices, dentists, those practices are opening up, doing some kind of video with them. And I'm sure this will have to be done on a low cost budget because everybody's tight right now and trying to get started, but it might be a good start to get out there.
All right, works, thanks.
And John, do you have something to add?
No, I'm just sharing that we all share the pain.
Do you have like a marketing strategy on how you are going to, what I'm doing for my business is I'm thinking the next 12 months ahead because I think COVID is not going to go away in 3 months or 6 months. And I think it's okay to plan a little bit ahead. Have you thought about how putting up a marketing plan for the next 12 months?
I mean, the way we've been doing things, I've been just connecting with competition and we've been just come to the agreement that we have to survive. So it's just, we're kind of just brainstorming like, okay, well, is there something I can do or something you can do? And then we're kind of just jumping back and forth, just little ideas on helping each other out. Besides that, working with another colleague and I'm redoing his warehouse. So that's going to be the go-to place for live streaming. So since the hotels aren't really taking us in.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Ken. Talma, and after Talma, I have Phyllis.
Hey, Kent, how are you, man? Great presentation.
Oh, thank you, Talmar.
Okay, the insight and the questions that I have are around pivoting to the virtual environment. So I'm involved in a bunch of organizations, and they have done these really massive virtual events. But what they do is they have a team that comes into their space and builds out this kind of virtual giant, what's the word I want to look for? Like the headquarters or whatever you want to call it, where there's screens everywhere. There's a bunch of different cameras. It allows the presenter to be up and standing. And the key to it is it lets that person that in the live events, it's so much about the personality, right? It lets them have that high energy and interact and get the success and connect. They can look around and talk to hundreds of people at a time, but they really need that team behind the scenes, one doing the tech, the AV, making sure everything's right. I think that for that to be successful for you, though, you'd really want to partner with somebody that is strong in the internet background, troubleshooting of people having problems getting into the site, or, you would need that tech partnership. But I've seen it be hugely successful. And I know that there's event program companies that are working in that space. Is that something that you could maybe package on a smaller level for business owners that have mastermind groups, or usually have workshops of anywhere from 30 to 150 people, and create that smaller market space instead of going for the big conference space? Because I know those people are generally not techie. They definitely want to connect with their people in that big, powerful, presenting, engaging way, but they're not the people to set that all up. They would definitely want to hire somebody like that.
I'm currently in talks with some individuals in Northern Virginia. So what you just mentioned is currently what's being talked about. I don't know right now a timetable when it's going to start, but yeah, I've definitely thought about it. So, yep.
Okay, well, I highly encourage it. It's been hugely successful. Like since March 15th, I've seen them come out very well. And I know people are spending money to do this because they can't get live. So if you have any more questions, reach out to me. Thanks. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Talma. Next, we have Phyllis. And after Phyllis, we have Russ McIntosh.
Hi, good morning, Kent. Thanks for that presentation. It's really impressive, just the number of different industries and spaces you've been working in. I saw that you had a slide of a drive-in movie theater concept. What was your experience with that, and was it successful, and do you plan to do more? The
experience was really good. I mean, we have a really, really powerful trailer that has a built-in generator, and we have a sound system that's also pretty much built into it. It was just good to go. I mean, our guy drives it. He's very good at driving tractor trailers, so there's no issue with, client has a really tight space of just how to pull back in. My guy's almost like a stunt driver. He just makes it happen. I mean, there was one occasion where I was kind of scared because I had an event in Loudoun County, and there were a lot of, I did notice there were like foxes and beavers and some stuff. I was worried because one client, instead of wanting the generator, they wanted wires, or sorry, the power line. So we had that ran, and every now and then I had either me or a colleague or a tech we had on site kind of just monitor that nothing was tampering with the cables. So that was pretty much the only thing. So otherwise, all my events are always a success. So yeah, thanks.
So as a follow-up, what kind of customers would you want to do to make that a viable option for you? Like, would it be communities? I think Melinda just put in the chat the city of Alexandria and other cities that usually do summer movie nights. Mm-hmm. Or could it be like school fundraisers or other community fundraisers where they have a parking lot and then they hire you to come and do that stuff? Or
yeah, probably like something.
Customers that you're looking for?
Could be like the county as a whole, Fairfax County. I know right now that it's going on right now in Loudoun and Prince William. I haven't seen anybody step up to the plate with Fairfax. I mean, I have the equipment. I just don't know anybody who really has the space, who wants to do it and, make the investment for getting the ball rolling with, marketing the event. Yeah. So, let's see, maybe get with mall companies. That is a good idea. So I could
Thank
get
you.
with, okay, I'll talk to Springfield and Fair Oaks this week. Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Thank you, Phyllis. That was awesome. Next we have Russ and then Sharon. Thank you for your patience, Sharon. Russ?
Yeah, well, first off, great presentation, Kent. I have colleagues that have worked with Kent and love working with him. He's known throughout the area. He's the go-to guy. It's very sad times that we live in right now with the COVID, and it's affected your business and lots of our friends. And I'd like to see you excel. I'm with the Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, and we're always trying to do different events and keeping social distance. Have you reached out to other chambers in the area about doing some sort of events and helping them as well?
Currently, I'm with the Dulles Chamber on the hospitality group. So I'm definitely going to talk with my guys in the coming week about if we're going to try to do some, interesting events outdoors. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm here in Fairfax City, so I know the Parks and Recreation do stuff, and I can reach out to them for you and try to put in a good word for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Thanks. Cool.
Sharon, thank you, Russ. Sharon Sobel.
Thanks. So Kent, you know that I know what you're dealing with intimately here, but I had two things. One would be to address your question specifically. 18 months. Certainly do not wait 18 months to make a decision on what you're going to do. I wanted to mention that I have seen in my world a lot of ads for AV people, not necessarily affiliated with a hotel, but affiliated with companies. And I think part of that is this shift in idea where companies are going to have some people working on site and some people working off site, and they're trying to develop solutions that allow collaboration across areas. There may be room for you there to take on that kind of work. So it's a different way of thinking. And good paying work should not be turned down. If you've got a family to support, it's okay to do that stuff during the day. You're not closing the door on your business. You're just making sure you get some money coming in. Secondly, you really should capitalize on those trucks that you've got with the screens. I haven't seen those around, and I think it's awesome. So Russ's ideas were great. I will tell you that I was talking a couple months ago with a association that was looking to change up their gala, and their initial idea was a drive-in gala at Tyson's Mall. So the idea of approaching the malls is good because it's another, they've got plenty of parking, particularly Landmark Mall, by the way, which seems to just be storing Amazon trucks.
Oh, wow.
Capitalize on the spaces that are out there and talk to your customers about rethinking their events into maybe a drive-in concept.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Sharon. And Kent, Sharon is a good person for you to partner with. I believe you're in the similar fields. Next, we have Melinda.
Hey, I know we've talked and I've given you a bunch of ideas, but once I heard you say hair cuttery, the hair care industry does a lot with videos, as you probably saw, and sometime around now they have their big hair show. I don't know if they're doing it or not, or how they're doing it, out in Vegas, called BBSI, Beauty Barber Salon Industry. And they make videos to train their people. They've got sales forces, they've got organizations. Also, Nestle is in this area. I know Nestle fairly well. I sold them years ago in California. And they've got a huge sales organization, a regular sales organization that calls on retailers, and then a food service organization. They're very specialized. And they need ways to deliver video to their people because their people are still out selling. So something that you should think about, and maybe you and I can talk about it later.
Thank you, Melinda. Next, we have Rosemary, and after Rosemary, we have Tony.
Thanks, Mayosha. So Kent, great presentation. It's fascinating to me to see all the AV work. I always wanted to go to Burning Man, but I never made it. Just so you know. Melinda's laughing because I know she's thinking about it too. I want to kind of build up what Sharon and Telmar and Melinda have been saying. If you have you gone back to your previous clients who have mounted big in-person meetings and spoken with them about making them remote with your help? And then working with your event planners to find a space where you can do social distance pre-recorded videos. I've been involved in a lot of events that normally happen live and had to go remote. And many of them did pre-recorded videos that ran through some of the keynote speakers and some of the pre-recorded content so that if there was any kind of glitch kind of in the Zoom or whatever video conferencing they were using, it could be minimized. And a lot of those groups need help because that's not their strong suit. So maybe you could set up something that is like a remote video capability where somebody could actually come in person. It's all, you know, CDC guidelines and whatnot. And then you can help them piece together the parts they would normally do in person, but now they have to do remotely. I think there's, and this, Talmar, may be what you're hearing and seeing, there's a real need for that level of AB competency that most of us don't have in order to make a remote event really polished and professional. And with your contacts and your capability, that might be something you can pull together relatively quickly, and then go back to your existing clients and say, look, I know you can't do it in person this year, this month, this quarter, but let's do it remotely, and this is how we can do it together. So that's an idea for you to follow up with.
Perfect, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks. Next, we have Tony, and after Tony, we have John Rutenberg.
Okay, great. All right, Kent. You have a lot of contacts in the theater area, in the theatrical production area. I do too, and I had lunch with one of them last week. And what they're working on, she works over at George Mason University. She's a theater arts professor. But what she's helping to do is organize a lot of the local theater groups to start doing high definition live productions via high def TV or by high screen computers, and do live productions that they're going to get sponsors for to start getting those people working and getting them active and stuff. Because right now their industry is decimated as well. No one can go to theater. No one can do, stand-up acts. No one can do, other things like improv groups and improv acts. And she's working on organizing these theater companies to start doing either weekly or even nightly productions that people can sit there and register for, pay for, or get sponsors for, to pay everybody to sit there and get them back and working on a method using high definition video so that people can watch this stuff on their TVs, not just over their computers using their webcams or whatever they have available. Have you reached out to anybody to see if you can connect into that stream of what's going on? Because your tech would fit in with that perfectly.
I'm talking with one guy. We're kind of doing certain, off the grid projects until we know it's like 100% perfect. We've noticed some glitches in it, so that's why it's not fully out there yet. But yeah, I'm getting to it. So very.
I'll tell her about you and slip her your information, because I'm actually going to see her tonight and see if she can get your name circulated in with that. Because yeah, the theater industry is as decimated as you are, and they're just sitting around collecting unemployment and being miserable because there's nothing they can do.
Some of the guys have been last week was the last day, so it's exactly a week. So this is the first week. Everybody's not getting that additional 600, which isn't help. Can't pay the mortgage, can't do the rent. You got kids. It's a terrible time for the entertainment industry.
Yeah,
So
and what they're doing right now, she's helping organize these groups. Some of them are getting ready to get productions going by this month or by the end of this month or September to start getting things going. But what they're looking for is production people who can sit there and actually help produce high quality, streaming video. I mean, as silly as it sounds, she was laughing because she said what inspired a bunch of people to do this was Hamilton going on Disney. And they're like, you know what, if we start doing stuff like that, where we go into the stage, we perform, we have it filmed professionally, and we can do it live, we can do it tape, whatever, but just to start getting work going and start getting things going, because there's a demand for it. People are looking for stuff to watch.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, I think everybody's gone through all the movies on Netflix and everything. So some new information out there, new shows would be a great idea. Next, we have John Rutenberg.
Hey, Kent. So I'm sorry for your pain, number one. Folks who are in public-facing businesses are hit the hardest. And I wonder whether reaching out to certain trade associations, such as the restaurant and retail industries, and getting them to produce best practices video training is one suggestion. Second, I would approach some of the big box chains that have large parking lots. I put in the chat Walmart, but generically Walmart, it doesn't matter, who have the large parking lots. And I would try to leverage your fantastic asset, the truck. And through their online purchasing, people could be signing up for movies and coming to in their cars to watch your movies. And I don't know the economics, but to partner with someone like that, because after the movie, folks are going to walk into Walmart and buy. And that would be the pitch to whether it's Best Buy, Walmart's, whomever are still the big box stores that are out there. They're having, yes, their online business is probably stronger than ever, but they still have in-store costs. And to be able to attract a couple of hundred people on an evening and run promotions at the same time, watch a movie, come into the store, might be a slant you could try.
Thank you, John.
All right, great idea, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you. That's awesome. Next we have Elisa Humes, and after Lisa, we have Melinda again.
I was just going to say about the drive-in idea. You could have a food truck there. Those people are also hurting right now. A lot of these stores are closing early. They still have limited hours. So if you do find a store, like John was saying, that is a good idea, and some of their hours are cut short. So that might be an opportunity when there's not so, when their parking lot is actually free and open, charge admission, those kinds of things. And anybody who has already been online but still needs to create that buzz to keep their business and their followers moving, like your prior target audience. I know those are hard ones right now, and I definitely appreciate the pain that you're going through as well as your experience. And thanks for your presentation. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. Next we have Melinda, and after Melinda, Rosemary.
One of the thoughts I had is the Kingstown Mall in Alexandria is a totally empty basin, and Alexandria is pretty progressive. That one, you could probably get in touch with the mall owners and or come in the back way through our mayor and the city council, because I think they might get excited about something like that. And maybe do it as a test, since it's a big, huge parking lot of, with the buildings in the back. So I think there's plenty of space to do something like this.
Thank you, Melinda. Rosemary?
Kent, you're drinking from the fire hose at the moment. Hopefully this will prove helpful for you. I just wanted to capture my comments in the chat so you could save it down and see it for a little bit later. A lot of great ideas coming at you, some really good contacts from this group. So hopefully things will help to move you past this incredible pain point. Good luck.
Thank you, Rosemary. Sharon, did you have something else to add, Sharon Sobel? And next, I see Phyllis.
No, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, I saw that you had put some information up there, and
Yeah, that's fine. It's there.
you can save the chat. We'll save you the chats and send that over to you, Ken, so you have everybody's comments and great ideas and their contacts as well. Phyllis, I saw your hand up, and I also saw some comments. Did you have something else to add, Phyllis?
No, I didn't have anything else to add. I'm sorry, I didn't take my hand down the first time.
Okay.
I just put in some comments of some communities or schools who might be interested in the drive-in movie concept.
Okay, great. Thank you. Alan Anderson?
Yes, as a thought, if you do something in Alexandria, I believe that the Alexandria Living magazine, you're going to be wanting to do some advertising for it. And I think that they have some relatively inexpensive methods of reaching people in Alexandria, as a thought, to advertise whatever the event's going to be that you're going to be doing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
While we're waiting for a few more questions, I have a quick question. I know I'm in several online groups on Facebook, and something that in my industry, we are also a service-based, face-to-face industry. I know that they're putting together some videos on safety measures that the schools are taking. And I already saw some person out there who has done like a stock video, and then the schools can reach out and customize it accordingly. Like they would have the stock videos of people taking temperatures, some basic, the stuff that everybody does. And then we could purchase the video and kind of customize it. So it's not very expensive for both sides. It's not expensive for the person to do the video individually from school to school, but it's also not expensive for other daycare centers. So maybe you and I can talk a little bit about it, because I'm in groups with over like 5,000, 10,000 people. They might really be interested in doing something like that, because everybody's trying to open up and survive and show these are the safety measures we are doing to keep our kids safe. So I can show you something that I have seen. And I'm actually interested in doing something like that. But the guy I was trying to communicate to him, he was a little bit slow with communication. I was like, okay, I need to customize it a little bit, but that might be something, if you have an idea, if you're interested in it, we can talk about it. I can also show that video to all my people in my groups. I'm sure they'll all love that. Russ, Tony had another idea that he wants to share with you.
Kent, Myosha just hit on something with her private school. My wife is a teacher and she's been teaching virtually. She teaches elementary school. And it just dawned on me, one of the things that they've been doing with the kids to keep them engaged is coming up with virtual field trips for them.
Right.
I think if you come up with a production model to do virtual field trips and market those to the schools, not just the private schools, but the public schools, something that's like maybe a 30-minute field trip to some location that you can sit there and do using your equipment, taking them someplace that's open. I think that's a really marketable idea, and the schools will pay for it. The teachers will demand it. And you get a few guys together and start doing one or two, just on spec that you can use as a demonstration of proof of concept. I think that then you'll start getting them to subscribe and buy them from you. And that might be a source of revenue, because if you've never watched one of these teachers teaching a virtual classroom, it's a mess. I'm not going to lighten it up. They're trying to do what they can to keep the kids engaged and attention moving through. And one of the things that all the kids do is they do the virtual field trips. My wife has already done Disney, where she did the virtual walkthrough a couple of the rides. And there's like one museum that does a virtual walkthrough from the museum. I think if you start doing that, and Myosha's shaking her head, that may be.
I need to do the Disney one.
Yeah, I think all the teachers are, yeah. But I think if you can do something with that, like with stuff local, Like, take them to Great Falls and do a virtual walkthrough of Great Falls, or the zoo and do a virtual walkthrough of the zoo because the zoo's now open. I think that might be a winning proposition.
Great. Sharon, Tony, that's a great idea, but I want Sharon to take add something on it before Ken jumps in.
Yeah,
Project.
it is a good idea, but unfortunately it's probably not a viable option for public schools specifically, because the public schools do have video production departments already that do that, and it's not an easy thing. I worked for Fairfax schools for 12 years. I've worked for Arlington schools now for 17, and it involves getting grants to pay for the production. So like we would partner with the Smithsonian, we would partner with NASA, and depending on the content that they wanted to produce with us, that's how the electronic field trips would get produced. It's a big undertaking to do an electronic field trip. So sorry to rain on anyone's parade, but that's probably not an easy next step, I would say.
Okay.
Sorry.
I have, since we are going along the same area, I'm going to have John chime in, and then I will go with Deb Cohen. John Rutenberg.
Thanks. Well, just these really great ideas and understanding Sharon's comments in the public school arena. But perhaps you could partner with the various professional sports teams who need to reach out to kids. So whether it's the WNBA, the NBA, the soccer leagues, let alone the Nats, the Wiz, and the Washington football team, might all be opportunities for them to reach the kids. And if you ask me, all of those topics are a heck of a lot more interesting than math and social studies when we're in an online world.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Okay, we have one more question, and then I need to move on to Mr. Donald Johns. And the last one, I believe, is Deb Cohen, and then we'll move on to Donnell.
Morning, everyone. Lots of great ideas, and but they're really big ideas. So the one final thought I'll give you is, and this may not be lucrative enough for you to consider, but everybody and his uncle is doing a webinar now. Many of them are for free, some of them are paid. But if you're like me as a solopreneur, I'm offering now 1-hour webinars to companies. They pay me, but as a person who's doing it myself, I can't be looking at the chat. I can't be running all the technical stuff. So if I'm going to do that, either I'm going to use their platform and let them run it, or I'm going to have to hire somebody. So there's a lot of people out there who are trying to do their own thing, and they may need just some back-end support. And again, I don't know if that's lucrative enough for you, but it's just an idea that there are so many people out there who are trying to do things to pivot themselves that, some of the technical side of things that make a presentation more colorful, more engaging, might be something that you can think about.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Now I'll pass it on to Mr. Donald Johns, who will ask the final question.
Kent, amazing presentation. I think COVID-19 has impacted us all. I'm just going to give you quick words of wisdom that I heard is kind of start where you are and communicate with those that you have worked with in the past, because they're all going through the same thing, and you guys can grow together. Events are happening. They're just happening outdoors and a lot less frequently. So just start where you are, my friend. But my last question to you is, what can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
I did have a slide in there. Me and my colleague are trying to become a GSA vendor. So if anybody has any helpful information that can gear me in that direction, I would really appreciate it. Otherwise, We're still brainstorming. I have to get with them this week to figure out what our next move is for the next couple weeks. All right, thanks.
No, thank you. Next slide. So next week's presenter is Got It Life. We're looking forward to their presentation. If you want to be a presenter for 1 Million Cups and get the amazing feedback just like Kent received, go to the number 1millioncups.com/Fairfax and apply to present. It takes a couple weeks to get your application approved. So if you're thinking about presenting in the next couple weeks, put your application in now. We'll be happy to have you. Next slide. So next week we have Got It Life. And then the 19th we have Proceed app, and then we're open on the 26th. And so all of you that come to this event and have not presented yet, we ask you to please put in your application because we have the end of August and the beginning of September open. Next slide. So we need your help. Please talk to your friends that are businesses that are interested in presenting. We also are looking for organizers. If you want to be a part of this amazing organizing team and you want to help our business owners grow their business, please become a volunteer organizer with us. We'll be happy to have you. The way that you do that is either contact myself or Tony or Myosha or John Yu, John Rutenberg or Russ McIntosh. We'll be happy to entertain an application to be an organizer. Next slide. If anyone has any upcoming events, I'm going to open up the microphone and allow you guys to raise your hand, and then I'll call on you to talk about your events.
So Donnell, real quick, so people who don't know, Misty is going to have her presentation this week. If you look it up, it's a very cool event. If you want to participate, it's free, about an hour long, and I think it's very pertinent to 1 Million Cups. And I apologize to Russ, as he will, and I privately laugh, I didn't get a chance to get his usual update put into this slide. But at this time, if he wants to speak up and let us know about anything that he has going on, I'd appreciate it.
Actually, yes, this afternoon from 12 to 1, we're having a panel discussion on get your book written. If you've ever thought about writing a book or wanting to know about how to do the self-publishing route or whether to go through an actual publisher, we have a 5-panel discussion going on this afternoon from 12 to 1. I included the virtual link information on the chat, so go ahead and click that. And we're going to have 2 authors, Jean Humbrecht. Her book is about how to getting speeding tickets and how they affect you. It was just recently published on Amazon. And then John Nero, he's a life coach, and his book is about how to overcome obstacles in your life. I helped him design his book cover and his interiors. I'm going to be on the panel discussing how to make your book pretty. We have an editor that's going to be on there as well as another publisher. So it's going to be a good discussion this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Russ, appreciate those comments. Anyone else?
I believe Rosemary and Talma has something to add. And Donald, did you ask the final question? Did I miss that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Today's Wednesday. I hold my weekly webinar today. If you're interested in learning more about how Gravitate powers this awesome organizing team, please join me. I have put the registration link in the chat. Hope to see you guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much. We have anyone else?
Yes. Hi. I want to invite everybody. I am a member of eWomen Network's Northern Virginia chapter. We have 2 meetings a month, but I want to specifically invite you to attend our accelerated networking event. It's August 20th. It's every third Thursday. It's from 11:30 to 1:30. And we are very concentrated, not just on educating ourselves to grow our businesses, but also making sure we have very specific opportunities to network and actually meet people during this event. So it's a great place to actually feel like you're going to walk away with some connections and meet somebody that is definitely going the way that you want with your business. So I'd love to invite you all August 20th. I dropped the link in the comments, but if you ever have questions, just reach right out, and I'd love to see you there. I'll be there. Bye.
Thank you so much, Talmar. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you guys for showing up, and we'll see you same location, different time, well, same time next week. All right. Take care.
And Kent, I think they asked for your information on the chat box. Presenter.